Welcome to the SVG-TV news for Monday, January 29th. With the details tonight, I'm Khalil Kato. Saharan dust haze concentrations are expected to increase within the next few days, reducing air quality and visibility across our islands. In its 72-hour outlook, the SVG Meteorological Service advises the general public to be on the alert. It says a weak approaching shear line will trigger pockets of showers from during the earlier parts of Wednesday, with relatively fair conditions anticipated from late Wednesday into Friday. Gentle to moderate east-southeasterly trades are expected to cross the islands during the forecast period, becoming occasionally fresh on Thursday. Sea conditions are expected to remain slight to moderate in open waters, with swells ranging between 0.8 meters to 1.2 meters on the western coastline and between 1.8 to 2 meters on the east. With the increase in Saharan dust expected, the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment is also advising the general public to take all precautionary measures as it can cause a number of health issues. In a news release, the Ministry of Health says the health issues could include a dry cough, sore throat, itchy watery eyes, sneezing and a runny nose. Here are some tips recommended by the Ministry of Health that you can follow to stay safe during the period to minimize potential health risks associated with the Sahara dust. 1. Use a clean face mask if you must go outside, especially if you have respiratory issues, to reduce inhalation of dust particles and potential irritants. 2. Close windows and doors to minimize dust entry into your home. 3. Stay hydrated, as Sahara dust can contribute to dry air. Drink lots of water to help soothe respiratory passages and maintain overall health. The Ministry of Health further added that if you have asthma or any respiratory condition, adhere to your prescribed medication plan and ensure that you have an adequate supply of inhalers or medications during this period. The Ministry is also advising persons to seek medical advice promptly if you experience worsening respiratory symptoms such as difficulty breathing or persistent coughing. Asthmatics are asked to consult their healthcare providers for personalized advice. The elderly, children, and those with pre-existing respiratory conditions are said to be the most vulnerable at this time. The St. Vincent and the Grenadines component of the Caribbean Digital Transformation Project, CARD-TP, is moving ahead with the implementation phase to meet its target operational date of 2026. As such, the implementation unit, represented by its director, Edmund Jackson, recently signed a contract with UNCTAD for the implementation of an electronic single window for trade facilitation, or eSWIFT. Consultants from UNCTAD are currently on the ground here in SVG and have been meeting with various stakeholders. At a news conference on Monday, head advisor for UNCTAD, Terence Leonard, said that the electronic single window for trade facilitation, or eSWIFT project, will improve business operation in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
All those agencies to receive a single submission of a document, meaning that if you submit to the government of St. Vincent and Grenadines one certificate, right, or one declaration, you don't have to submit that same document to another agency over and over again. It also means that instead of physically going or transiting from agency to agency to get whatever license, certificate, or declaration process, now the trading public has one single platform to engage where all the agencies are connected and will do the application, process the application, approve, reject, whatever process, or clear whatever process that they have to do, which is now being done manually or semi-automated. They will be able to do it fully automated on that single platform.
Leonard said St. Vincent and the Grenadines will be the third Caribbean country where eSWIFT will be implemented.
We have single windows in the Caribbean in place in Jamaica. That was our first project, and that was a success story. In fact, not just for this region, but I dare say for the world, because of what happened, or what is happening right now in terms of trade facilitation for the Jamaican economy. You saw an immediate boost, a better climate for doing business because the time for clearance was significantly reduced. The revenues increased. The revenue itself was, protection was enhanced, and it's just a much better business climate because of the use of the automated environment. We have also Barbados is the latest single window to be implemented. We started about a year and a few months ago. We have a pilot that went live in November last year. And here we have the third single window for the Caribbean in SVG.
The head advisor for UNCTAD further pointed out some of the challenges they have been facing with the project.
And that's what we do. As we go implementing the single window from jurisdiction to jurisdiction, we document challenges so that we know what not to do, what to do with the next project. And the main challenge I would say is change management. That is persons transitioning from a paper environment, a manual or semi-automated, to a fully automated or reduced paper or paperless environment. That has always been the challenge. Persons would resist change for various reasons. Sometimes it's just infinity, everlasting infinity for paper, for paper and pen, that they just love it. And they don't want to dispense with it. Sometimes it's a perceived threat that the system is coming to replace the human resource, which is absolutely not the case. It's a tool, and which is to be used efficiently. So that will be the main challenge, change management. And in fact, we have a change management program component of the project that we will implement. Other challenges is, I would say, bureaucracy. Getting persons to move at a particular pace to get certain things done at all levels, operational, strategic, procurement for equipment, all these things. We have faced certain challenges and we've learned some good lessons from that.
The electronic single window for trade facilitation is expected to be implemented by 2026. Ambassador of Colombia to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, William Bush, earlier today met with Minister of Agriculture, Forestry, Fisheries, Rural Transformation, Industry and Labor, Saboto Caesar, to have a substantial discussion aimed at strengthening the ties between SVG and Colombia in the field of agriculture. A news release said Minister Caesar highlighted the efforts being made to establish a comprehensive platform for the exchange of expertise in critical areas, such as vegetable production, horticulture, and livestock production. Minister Caesar is expected to pay a visit to Colombia later this year. His visit is anticipated to further solidify the foundation for a productive partnership between the two nations with regards to agriculture. According to the news release, the initiative is a pivotal component of the South Cooperation facilitated by the Community of Latin America and Caribbean States, CELAC, of which Colombia and SVG are member states. 5 groups that are part of the Youth Agri-Entrepreneurship for Rural Development project received equipment totaling approximately $87,000 to help boost their production in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. A handing over ceremony was held at the Fisheries Conference Room on Friday, January 26th, where the groups received industrial blenders, industrial stoves, oil extractors, stainless steel strainers, and pot sets, among other things. Minister of National Mobilization, Social Development, Family, Gender Affairs, Youth, Housing and Informal Human Settlement, Orlando Brewster, urged the groups to make use of the equipment.
So I don't want any group with a brilliant idea as it relates to food security here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines to be left aside or to fall through the cracks. But we are here to help you as best as we can. And the Youth Affairs Division will be coming to other communities to see how best we can expand on such a wonderful initiative.
Minister of Agriculture Saboto Caesar says that his government has taken the initiative to achieve the target set by CARICOM of reducing the food import bill by 25% by the year 2025, and projects like these contribute to the national effort.
We have to become entrepreneurial. With the significant increase in the hospitality industry in terms of the room stock, we will be bringing hundreds of persons more this year than hitherto, and they will be in need of goods and services. And at this stage, we are going to work through the Department of Industry, Department of Labor, Agriculture, Mobilization, working with friendly governments to ensure that the young people, that exceptional cadre of young persons that we have in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, that they are properly mobilized.
A national backyard supply chain program, which will be launched in February, according to Minister Fraser, would encourage more people to engage in backyard farming and food production. The groups that received the equipment are Infusion Co., Chateau Passion, Beckway Dynamic Investors, IAMCO, and YAMCO. With the opening date of the Sandals Resort St. Vincent and the Grenadines fast approaching, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, Minister of Tourism Carlos James, and Area Representative Dr. Orlando Brewster, along with students of the Department of Hospitality and Agriculture of the Division of Technical and Vocational Education of the SVG Community College, paid a visit to the resort site at Bookament today. Speaking with state media, Regional Project Director of Sandals International, Terence Devines, gave the assurance that they will be ready for the March 1st opening.
Are you going to be ready for March the 1st? February 29th, March the 1st.
We're going to be ready for February the 28th.
All right.
So this is Sandals St. Vincent. We're going to have 301 keys, and we're going to have 200 rooms, 200 suites, 91 villas, and 10 overwater suites. So what over villa suites? And
what would be what in all these 300 keys, KEYS? What is the total capacity in terms of all the rooms, the suites, the rooms, everything?
We'll have 602 guests. We'll be occupying 301 keys. We have 10 restaurants. We have 5 bars. We have just opposite, we have a nurses station for our guests. We have the lobby, so we have this grand lobby. The guests come, the first thing they see is the sunset and the Caribbean Sea. That's all the guests want. They want sunset and the Caribbean Sea. So we have everything visual. You could see here, we have a 100-meter pool, and we have a swim-up bar next to it. We have on the eastern side, we have a state-of-the-art conference center where we'll be hosting the CELAC event, with hopefully we have all 34 leaders.
Devine said the resort also boasts a number of facilities for its staff.
And I will show you all when we're leaving the back of house, which we call the heart of house, where we have all the staff facilities. PM, we even have a barber shop. So okay, so we have a barber shop, we have a tucker shop.
Carlos, you hear that? So that you can have a trim.
In the heart of house also, we do have our staff canteen where we serve breakfast, lunch, and dinner to our staff. So we have a staff canteen, we have a staff lounge. So if staff feel a little tired and so on, there's a lounge for them to relax, watch TV, and so on. We also have, we're going to have a staff gym for our staff, and we're also going to have a playing field, a football playing field for our staff as well. So we'll have staff versus guest matches. Okay?
How much does the staff pay for all these facilities? Staff amenities?
They pay fun. They have fun. They pay zero for it. It's complimentary via Sandals. Our staff is as important as our guests. Okay? So all in all, as you can see, we'll take a walk along the pool deck. I'll walk you to the front, then walk you, and we'll see one of the rooms, one of the standard rooms we have. And then at the end of the tour, we'll go and see the heart of house, where you will see the canteen and some of the other facilities.
Minister of Tourism Carlos James and Member of Parliament for the area, Dr. Orlando Brewster, said they are impressed with the work done on the project thus far.
I had a really good opportunity here for the students in particular who came to visit the site to see the developments that are taking place. Of course, the Prime Minister came because big on the agenda is the CELAC conference, which we're expected to have here in a few months, well, a few weeks. and we're really hoping to have a rollout of this project. We've been given the assurance of a completion date ahead of the SILA conference, and no doubt from what we're seeing here, the improvements and the work ethic of all of the staff here. A lot of them, over 500 plus local persons, are here employed, and it really augurs well for the construction sector, but also for tourism. And what we're seeing here with Sandals, it's really opening up tourism on the main island, St. Vincent, for the rest of the world. And we're looking to really build out our room stock and to continue to develop our tourism product here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
This is truly spectacular. It's an amazing view, and I'm happy to be the representative for this constituency. And I'm sure from our walk through today, you would seen many of the persons within the constituency who's here on site, who's employed. And, you know, it is a blessing to have such a massive establishment here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but specifically in this little village of Bookament Bay. As the representative, I'm really grateful. And I know when this all started, the Minister of Finance, the Honorable Camilo Gonçalves, was a part of the groundwork, doing the groundwork in making sure that Sandals is here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And I must thank him, because he did tremendous work with the company to get us where we are today. And for March, when we get back here, it would be a sight to behold. I'm excited, I'm happy for what is happening here in Bookament with Sandals Resort.
And leader of the opposition, Dr. Godwin Friday, says more efforts and resources are needed to promote and build some of the local festivals, which will help enrich the overall tourism product. Dr. Friday made the comments on radio on Monday while speaking on the music fest held over the weekend at the Plantation House in Bequia, which he said had a good showing in terms of crowd support, but the organizers have been facing some challenges in hosting the event at the scale that patrons have become accustomed to.
Festival that has grown, you know, organically over time. I remember, 15 years ago, 17 years ago, whatever, when I started going there, it was down at the same place it is now, down at Plantation House where it was last night. And, it was smaller there, and then it grew, and they went to Friendship Hotel 1 year for on the lawn, and then down to the Reef as a principal location, and it has become a fixture on the tourism calendar. So when I hear that there are difficulties and there are challenges that seem to be not being met, and that there is a risk, a danger that in fact it may not have happened this year at all. As you know, it was in a reduced format in a sense this year, because we didn't have the bands, we didn't have the performers and so forth that normally come internationally, and that puts us going in the wrong direction. What we need is for this and other festivals to be promoted so that we have a rich and enriched tourism product that make people come back to enjoy these events. Not just that they enjoy the events when they are here, but if you have them as part of and develop them into really outstanding events, as say for example in St. Lucia, people will book their vacations to go there for the jazz festival. Yep. That's what you want in a tourism product. Not just it's something for people to enjoy when they happen to be here, but it becomes a reason for coming here. And so that even if you come earlier in the year, you want to come later in the year, you will still come to the music fest. You will still come in the same way that people will come home for carnival and so forth. But to do that, you got to build it, and you got to be consistent, and you have to put the time, the effort, the thoughts, and the money into it. And that comes from really, you have to have leadership from the level of right at the top, from the Ministry of Tourism. And of course, the people who are on the ground that are putting them have to work in tandem.
Dr. Friday said he is also concerned about the hosting of the Easter Regatta this year.
Last year, there was none. There were some local guys who organized the double-ender boats, the local boats, the traditional boats, and hats off to them. But they too will tell you that it's not really what the regatta has become known for. And that is something that has to be given a lot of effort and thoughts. And I am talking to people who are very concerned about what's going to transpire this year, that there does not appear to be. I asked this question in Parliament the other day of the minister, what exactly is happening with this important tourism festival? It brings money in, because when the yachties come, they bring the sailors and so forth. That is part of the tourism product. And I heard the minister recently talking. He had his soliloquy some time ago on tourism, where he, rather than coming to the Parliament and presenting his plans and subjecting them to the scrutiny of the members of the opposition, he going to make his monologue somewhere else rather than in the Parliament, and so nobody is there to challenge him. But I have listened to his presentation, and I mean, there's nothing really new. We know that the numbers of tourism, the tourists are up, because that's region wide, and that's a very good thing that we are experiencing that. But it's still, the yachting is still much lower than it was, say, 15 years ago. And stayover visitors still have a challenge, because you don't have enough rooms, especially on the mainland, and the cost of flights to get here to St. Vincent. All of these things have to be dealt with before we can really say that, tourism is on the right track. We have a lot of ground to cover, a lot of ground to make up, and this minister is not providing any leadership whatsoever. Never mind his talk where he go on and talk to himself there, and not subjecting himself to the scrutiny of the Parliament. But he does not show that he understands what is required to get this thing moving. He does not inspire the people in the industry to believe that he knows what he's doing and what the government plans to develop tourism.
Commending all tourism stakeholders who are trying to get things done which are necessary, the opposition leaders said the industry will, however, not move forward with the kind of purpose and energy that is required to take advantage of the opportunities in the industry, which the country is so well placed to do.
Well, one of the challenges we have here, Colin, with respect to tourism, is that even when people come, we have looked at their numbers, where you would have increase in numbers, but the spend is still going down. We don't have a corresponding increase in spending that matches the increase in the numbers. So that even if you have more visitors, you don't make as much money as with fewer. And that is, of course, the nub of it, because if you don't have, tourism is not just about being nice to people. Of course, you have to be nice to people. That's your human duty, but also from a business point of view, to attract people. We want people to come to St. Vincent and Grenadines, but we want them also to spend. We want them to be able to put money in the hands of local craftspeople, local entertainers, taxi drivers, and so forth. And the problem that we got with this, the government, is that I don't know where the planning is, to be honest. You've heard me lament this, because the taxi drivers here in mainland, they tell me so, and those in Grenadines as well. You haven't fixed Fort Charlotte, which is one of the main sites. You're fixing Belmont Lookout now in the middle of the tourist season. I hear him talking there in his monologue about fixing the Pirate of the Caribbean site.
After so many years.
After so many years, good Lord. Mm-hmm. This is what they don't understand, that the opportunity cost. What is lost cannot be regained.
Yeah.
And so if you're going forward now, it's good that they're talking about doing it, but what took you so long?
Pastor Shaka Fraser is reminding Vincentians that no still means no. Pastor Fraser was at the time addressing a rally in Georgetown last Friday, hosted by the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force Eastern Division Sexual Offences Unit. Referencing a Bible scripture about Tamar, who was raped by her brother, the pastor said that it is unfortunate that the same thing is happening in SVG today.
In our society as well, sad to say, her name was Tamar, and she suffered at the hand of a member of her own family, her brother, what we will call incest in our time. A place where she should have been safe turned out to be a place where it was a nightmare for her. And it's sad that our young people, our young boys and our young girls, in the places where they ought to feel safe sometimes, it is a nightmare, a place where they want to run from, a place where they want to escape. God help us. He wanted her and she did not want him, so he cooked up a plan to be with her alone, and then he raped her, and then he chased her out of the house, even though she said no 3 times. I believe that no still means no. Yeah. I believe that there isn't an editing of the dictionary where no means yes. I believe if I say no to a 2-year-old child, they would understand what that means. So why when a young lady or a young man says no to an adult, they cannot understand that?
Pastor Fraser identified other emotions that can come of rape, which can lead to other criminal activities.
Act of rape came hatred. Come on, we know it so well. Because if you assault me, I will have a hatred towards you. And those who are associated with me, those who know of that account, will have a hatred towards you. And so hatred came, and it was stored up for years, and then murder, and then the disintegration of the family. Sexual assault destroys families, my friends. It destroys people's lives. And so the word tells us that Absalom killed his brother Amnon for assaulting a sister and fled. And so the family was in shambles.
Pastor Fraser further encouraged Vincentians not to be afraid to speak out about incidents of sexual abuse that they may be aware of.
You may be aware of situations like this. The easiest thing for you to probably do is to say, it's not my business. I don't know what to do or what to say. I don't want to cause a scene. Come on. You probably heard that before. I don't want to bring shame on the family. You've heard that one before. I don't want my friend to be mad at me, or somebody else may step in. But if good people continue to do nothing, my friends, evil will continue to prevail. Let us not allow evil to prevail, but let all of us, every single one of us, do our part. Let all of us play our roles so that this thing can stop, my friends. I urge you to do your part. It doesn't matter who it is. It could be your uncle, it could be your auntie, it could be the teacher, it could be the police officer, it could be the pastor, it could be the politician. It doesn't matter who that person is. If you know something, do something about it.
While the number of sexual abuse incidents reported in SVG are mostly committed against women and girls, men and boys are also usually victims and are afraid to speak out. This is according to guest speaker, Staff Nurse Tekla Jack, who is encouraging the Vincentian male population not to be afraid to speak out against any sexual abuse they might face.
We are aware that sexual abuse is heavily on the rise, as was noted by Mr. Williams, the acting commissioner. And even though our women and girls are mostly victims or survivors, of these acts, they are also committed against men and boys. A lot of the times, the men and boys are afraid to speak because this is not in keeping with our society. It's a taboo for a man to speak out and say he has been sexually abused or beaten by a female or any other person because he's not macho. He is seen as weak, and all of these kinds of feelings go through his mind. His ego takes a beating. But I want to encourage my brothers today. This is a thing of the past. Men have a voice just like women do.
Staff Nurse Jack further reminds the public that of the acts that are normally considered as sexual abuse.
Talking about sexual abuse, what then is sexual abuse? According to Psychology Today, 2023, which coincides with Collins Online Dictionary 2023. Sexual abuse is any sexual activity that occurs without consent. It is also referred to as sexual assault or sexual violence. It involves unwanted sexual touching, forced oral sex, unwanted or forced penetrative sex, or rape. Sexual molestation, gross indecency, indecent assault, sex trafficking, statutory rape, all these are forms of sexual abuse.
The RSVG police force has begun a period of consultation or information sharing on the National Firearms Amnesty 2024, which is expected to take effect from March 1st for a period of 90 days up to May 31st. During this period, if persons hand in illegal weapons, the assurance has been given that there will be no prosecution. However, thereafter, there will be. On the Police Beat program last evening, discussing the topic, the National Firearms Amnesty 2024, Surrender Your Weapon, It's a Bad Companion, head of the Police Public Relations Department, Superintendent Junior Simmons, said the gun amnesty is being held under Section 43, Subsection 3 of the Firearms Act, Chapter 386 of the revised edition of the laws of St. Vincent and the Grenadines 2009. Deputy Commissioner of Police Frankie Joseph, who was a guest on the program, noted that even though the period for the gun amnesty has not yet started, the police have been receiving firearms from members of the public, which is a good sign, noting that the last illegal gun amnesty, which was held almost 20 years ago in 2003, was not successful.
I think, if my memory serves me right, we roughly about 5 or so weapons were surrendered. And this amnesty, we decided to add something to it, because we believe one of the reasons why the amnesty was not that successful is because only police were collecting weapons. So we add in this amnesty that you can surrender your weapons to an agent, and we outline in the document the different agencies that we are referring to, yes, who are not police officers. One of the things that we thought is that, persons out there with illegal firearms might tend to be more comfortable surrendering their weapons to like a minister of religion, justice for the peace, lawyers, as they are accustomed to, even politicians. You will have, like firearms dealers. You will have like persons in this society who they are comfortable, very comfortable with. They would prefer to hand weapons to those persons, and not feel that comfortable handing it to the police. So we add that to the amnesty, to this amnesty, and we are hoping by doing that, this amnesty would be more successful because persons do not have to hand it direct to the police.
Okay. So in essence, Deputy, you're saying that for this amnesty, we have broadened the scope of the different category of persons who
On what triggered the gun amnesty, Assistant Commissioner of Police Trevor Bailey said statistics helped guide the decision, noting that from January 1st, 2022 to December 31st, 2023, SVG recorded 94 murders, of which 77 were committed by firearms.
That tells us that we have not just a problem, a serious problems on our hands here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines when it comes to firearm usage in committing crimes. And I'm sure this will have been the most compelling factor that prompted us to move in this direction, in trying our endeavor best to rid the streets of St. Vincent and the Grenadines of all its illegal firearms, so that we can place a serious dent on the commission of homicide or murders here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Those are very alarming.
And just to add to that, ACP, outside of the murders, which is 94, we had a number of persons who were shot and injured by the use of firearms and survive. You know, so if you can add that number to the homicide, it is even more compelling with the use of firearms.
Correct.
Gentlemen, those are very alarming figures. We do not manufacture guns in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, neither in the Caribbean. So these guns are coming from somewhere. Hence, we have to stem that tide. We have to close those loopholes where those guns are coming into our country. And the amnesty is just one measure that we employ right now to curtail the use and possession of illegal firearms in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.